Hello and welcome to the presentation of our Estrema Technology Hub project. As you know, it's based on an existing factory, and in a few moments I'm going to share with you the history, which started in 1959 with the company Bertone, which was a design company, but also they had production facility at the same time, offering to do low numbers, especially for sports and luxury cars. So models such as the Lamborghini Miura were built there. And not only, we will see a few pictures later, there were famous Alfa Romeos, the ASA, which was called the Little Ferrari, Fiat model, different models, Volvo, Opel, and also BMW Motorrad was manufactured, assembled in the same plant. And later, in the year 2009, the factory was purchased by Fiat and later FCA, and it was then completely refurbished and became also a new name, which is AGAP. It stands for Avvocato Giovanni Agnelli plant. And you know the Agnelli family were the founders of Fiat more than 100 years ago, more than 100, actually 130 years ago, I think. So after they do a complete renovation, they started to build in 2013 the Maserati Quattroporte and Ghibli, with a workforce of around 1,700 employees. And if I'm not mistaken, the production was around 170 cars per day. But since the production dropped because of less requests in the market for such models, in 2022, Stellantis decided to dismiss the plant and to transfer whatever is left from the production to a nearby other factory, which is called Mirafiori. Just to let you know where this plant is located, it is in the city of Grugliasco, which is not far away from Torino, and it's very conveniently located, and it's near major highways and not too far away from airports, and also hub and manufacturing industrial area, and so on and so forth. Therefore, location-wise, I would say it is a perfect location because you have everything you need for networking in terms of companies that eventually will join with Automobili Estrema in the project itself. This is the plant from above. If you go on Google Maps, you can see it by yourself. Just Google AGAP Grugliasco, and you will find out the view you currently see right now. As you see, it's a fairly big surface. Not all areas are totally covered. There are free areas, which is a good thing in terms of our plan and our project. And roughly half of the surface is covered. That means that in total we have more than 200,000 square meters, or 20 hectares, of which half are buildings and covered. This is again the division of all the buildings, square meter by square meter. We got also the height in meters as well. Just for your information, if you're interested, of course, we can provide you with a PDF file and more comprehensive information about the building itself. So in this case, just send an email to the email address you already know. And after signing an NDA, we can let you have more information as well as this document itself. This is another view of the building area. And again, the division on your left-hand side, you have the division of what are the whole buildings and eventually the expansion area, which you see on the far right. This is the actual situation of the buildings. We did this pictures a couple of weeks ago. It's pretty empty. There is not much left, but the condition of the building itself and the offices is quite good. There are minor refurbishing jobs to do. Of course, gardening and something like light painting works and alike, but nothing dramatic really. So what are we going to do with this area if we are able to purchase this area? This is what we share today with you. So we know about the legendary past. So these are the cars that were built in this factory. And I think it is a legacy that we continue to keep this plant working. Also in the next 60 years or more, because it has already more than 60 years of history. And our opinion is that we shouldn't just tear down the factory and do something different. We should maintain what is possible to maintain, eventually expand, and simply start a new chapter in this wonderful book again. Okay, and that's our idea, the Estrema Technology Hub. It has to be sustainable because the future needs to be more sustainable. This is how we see the main entrance where we have the offices located. The offices are beautiful, and it's quite a good surface where we can host multiple companies. For Automobile Estrema itself, it is simply far too big. No way that we can use the whole factory just for ourselves. But what we want to do is just to attract our partners, mainly, which already committed to come and join us into the buildings. But if it will not be enough, it will be the initial phase is to get in ourselves, followed by our partners, and then attract many more. And this is how we see it. We have an incredible chance to host various companies and companies, employees and students, teachers, entrepreneurs should be there to cross-pollinate and then grow with different projects at the international level. And it should be, of course, innovative projects and everything sustainable, from mobility to energy generation. What we want to do is basically start the philosophical way of intending the future as a zero-emission society. So not only companies, we also would like to host an academy. And the reason is that with young people, you simply get another dynamic inside a factory. And we shouldn't forget about the workers that are all around the factory. There are companies that built their facilities next to this former Maserati plant to supply the plant itself with components like seats and other different components which are produced nearby. So we don't want to forget about all these workers that are at risk and possibly losing their actual jobs. So what we would like to do is not only for young people, the academy, the Estrema Academy, but also for those workers that need to be trained in a different way, since they have received training for something that is probably not going to be produced anymore. Therefore, we need this kind of activity to be inside the academy itself. And after the proper training inside the technology hub, they will have opportunity to find a job or eventually be prepared to find a job somewhere else, probably and possibly in the vicinity. So the vision of this academy comes with my personal friendship with Professor Dr. Gerhard Blechinger, which is leading the Berlin School of Creative Leadership. And he already committed to come and do all the academy part of the Automobili Estrema Technology Hub project with his experience as a dean in various universities around Europe and also outside of Europe. So therefore, this is, in our opinion, another important pillar of the entire project. And of course, and as we have electric mobility, electric cars, and we want to be sustainable, right now the production of energy is not as sustainable inside the plant. There is a gas turbine which is firing up literally all the energy produced for the buildings, for the factory. So we want to dismiss the gas production and then install instead photovoltaic panels everywhere, wherever it is possible, because we want to get possibly as soon as we can to a net zero kind of facility. And maybe, who knows, we could also produce more energy, more electricity than we actually need. And in this case, we can sell it to outside. And this is how we see the parking lots. We would like to include a hub for fast charging, where everyone can stop, not just the ones that are coming to the factory, but the ones that are passing and are going to need to have a recharge. Therefore, this will be available 24/7 to the public, and it will be accessible from outside, directly from all the roads that are passing by. For those that are visiting, and for the employees, and for all the companies that are using cars, we will provide EV chargers at any stall in order to promote the electric mobility, and giving also, while they work, the chance to fill up their battery. It will be, of course, a slow charging. We don't need to have a fast charging area for these cases here, because they're going to stay several hours working, and therefore it will be not so much the request on power. And anyways, we also would like to have a microgrid kind of loop into the electricity production. And in this case, battery backup will then provide enough energy, even if it's maybe night or it's a cast sky and we don't have so much production. Nonetheless, we will be able to give and provide energy from batteries, or eventually from other sources if it's needed. What, in addition to what we see as the actual layout of the factory, there is momentarily the place where they used to have the cars, the production. All the cars that were produced were parked in this lot. There is a covered surface, and there is another surface which is not covered, and eventually is available for a test track. We would like to have, of course, something at zero emission, nothing that makes noise and pollutes. It should be able to give a culture shift towards the sustainability of transportation. That means that we have to learn in general how to use electric cars. They are not the same as the conventional cars. Also, the driving style is different, so it's less aggressive. So we need to teach people how to correctly drive an electric car. And by having something in-house, it will be more easy to attract people and companies to come and share. It doesn't matter the brand, etc. we need to share this cultural shift towards zero emission and also zero noise, which is a good thing that often is forgotten, especially in the city. When you have a lot of traffic and noise, if you lower the noise level, you also have a much better quality of life. In the same area, we would like to have restaurants and cafeterias. Therefore, it's not meant only to be there for driving, but we will also have time and place to enjoy. So the real estate business that we need to do in order to get this land from the actual owners is that we have to put down a significant amount of money. We have an estimation of roughly 50 to 60 million euros that we need to purchase the plant on one side, and also to do some refurbishing work and also some dividing of the existing building. As you can imagine, these buildings were all planned and built to host a production for one company. Now we have multiple companies going to join. Therefore, we need to divide it and we need to split in a different way. And that's the reason why we esteem between 50 and 60 million euros of total investment, which doesn't need to be done all in once. We think it's necessary to go in different phases. And the first phase is to take whatever is already working, whatever can already be occupied by companies, and then work little by little, adding other spaces. For someone that is interested, since it is a kind of community that we are building up, the ticket is relatively low. The entry ticket is only 10,000 euros. So every interested person that wants to invest 10,000 euro and up is what we request as minimum investment. And on the other hand, we also want to base this business model not only in someone investing into the real estate, but also in companies wanting and willing to come and take some space and have their business unit, or a complete business unit, or some business unit, or partially, whatever, any case is be seriously taken by ourselves into consideration. So of course there will be a certain minimum space. We are not going to split it into two little units, but it will be fairly spaced for most of the necessities of companies. So the total area, as I said initially, is more than 200,000 square meters. So it's a very big area. And in this case, we're going to see how much we are getting from investors, how much space we're going to lease, and then based on the feedback of the viewers right now and investors later, we will decide to do either a debt finance or a lease finance. So the collateral, of course, for banks and for the institutions that are going to give us the line of credit will be, as a part of the guarantee, will be the building itself, will be the collateral. The rates that we are going to offer will be sustainable. That means that it's market-based, and we're not going to excess the request for the space. Therefore, it will be a fair market value. This is how we are having in mind of splitting up the area. And of course, this is not cast in stone. That's roughly our intention. And we will certainly have to modify what we have right now, because it always comes in a different way. And but you should start with something, and you should start with having a clear idea of what you are going to offer. So the green space, the green area, as you see, it's the Estrema Academy and green space. So there is actually a building which is here. I'll show you here with the mouse. Okay, this building here is an old building, is an old brick building, and I would like to take this down and replace it, and then combine it with this area here, because there is a tunnel, because this here is the road, and between the green area here and the buildings inside on the other side of the road are just divided by a tunnel. So it's easily accessible. So from here you can get here. These are the actual office buildings. And here, this is the old brick building that it's really nothing fancy, and we will have to redo. So this area here is green area, green space, and the academy area. Then this is the first area that we can occupy, which we have called Estrema and Partners. So building here and building here, these are the initial buildings that we are able to cover already right now. That means that together with us and our partners, we are filling up this area already. Then we have the red space, which is public parking, test track, the e-driving academy, the charging hub, restaurant and events. And then the yellow one is the campus, because it should be like a university campus, like a college, where everywhere you go inside this area, it is an open space, and it is also accessible for someone from outside, because you have a food court, the general services, everything will be located there. So also very close to every accessible parking lot, etc. Then the other light blue colored parts are the ones that are totally free and available for lease. And this is what we would like to eventually do in a second stage. So right now we enter and we occupy the first, and then we do this and this at a later stage as we progress with our financing plan. Something about our team, which I have to thank for all the incredible work we have done in all these years. We have someone that just joined us recently. Finally, we have a young lady, Linda Villano, and she is our brand ambassador. She's from Torino, and she's going to promote at any level the idea of this Estrema Technology Hub. And this is our Fulminia. So someone would like to know what's going to happen with Fulminia. Well, we would like to produce Fulminia in the facility of Grugliasco, possibly. Our supplier, which is now working on the Fulminia, is not very far away, is actually maybe 15 minutes away from the Grugliasco factory. And we have invited him as well to join us on this side. And our wish is that our partners are coming and producing Fulminia in the initial units. And if everything goes like we plan, it's going to be July 2024. So the start of production should be the second half of 2024. And this should also be the same time where we are able to get inside the factory and then take the first portion, like I have explained before, of the plant. But as I said, we don't want to have only electric mobility on 4 wheels. We also look more into the sky, and we are aiming for the sky. So we already have something that can eventually take over and then Fly Away, which is eVTOL. So it's an electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle, or in this case, an aircraft. It's manned, so it's not unmanned, it's manned, and it should be something that is used by someone that is maybe today using helicopters, which are polluting and very loud. And this is an alternative, and more alternative will come. So this is how we see it. We, on purpose, didn't want to show too much. You see a little bit something, a rough shape of this could be, but this will then eventually be developed after Fulminia. So let's start with the four wheels first, and then we are taking for the sky, like I'm saying here right now on this last slide. Thank you very much for staying with us today and for being part of this community and our vision of creating this technology hub in the former Maserati and former Bertone plant in Grugliasco by Turin in Italy. If you have more questions, of course, you already have the email, but you find it here again. So it's project_agap@automobilestrema.com.